Hey, how's it going? Uh, my name is Derek Bias, D-Bias Photography. Today I'm going to talk to you about using gradients and the power of using gradients. It's pretty cool. So just follow along and we're going to get this video started. Show y'all how to use gradients and how it can affect the tones in your images and affect the colors in your images. So with this picture, there's two type of gradients. There's gradient map, and there's also just a regular gradient. And I'm gonna go through both of them. So if you go down here to your adjustment panel, click on it, and we'll start with gradient map. You click on gradient map, and if your foreground and background color set to black and white, that's the gradient map you're gonna have. Now you can use these colors to affect the colors of your image, right? So let's say if we click on this and we change the black to, let's say, a red color, everything that's in the black tones right here, from the black to the mid tones, will become whatever color you choose. Okay. So like if you're doing the black and white, but you don't want it solid black and white, or you want to replace the black with a different color, you can do that here. You can change it to like a blue, not a green, because that's kind of ugly, but and you hit OK, and there it is. And if you want to change the highlights and the whites, you can just click on that and just change the color to something you like. Okay. Let's go with a blue, a light blue. And now once you have this set in your adjustment panel over here, in your layers panel, of course you have a mask, so you can mask out whatever areas you don't want. But you can also change your blend modes to something like screen. You can change to something like soft light, change your opacity around, just to change the colors. That's the after, and that's before. Just as something you like, set it back to screen. That's the before, and that's the after. And that's using gradient maps. And the good thing about these gradients is, like, once you have a gradient set, see, like when you open it up for the first time, I think it's going to stop like right around here. But you can save all of your gradients, to stuff that you like. And the way to do that, only thing you have to do is come over here and click new. And this gradient that you just had now appears right here. So every time you come back in, let's say get rid of this, you add a new gradient, gradient map. You come up here, click on this, you scroll down, and your gradient is right there. Set it to screen, bring the opacity down some, and that's your gradient. Okay, now that's the gradient maps. Now for just the regular gradients, you click on your adjustment and you go to gradient. Now this one is going to work pretty much the same, but a little bit different, because the gradient is actually on the screen. So you hit the gradient, and now the foreground color is black, and if you look right here, it goes black to transparent. So down here you have the black, and it's going up to transparent. Now you can use this type of gradient. Let's say if you want to add like a type of light leak look from like film or whatnot, you can just click on this and find like a orange or something, like a bright colored orange. Just click OK. Click OK here. OK here, and you can just set that to like color dodge maybe, or color burn. No, not color burn. That don't look too good. Screen. bring the opacity down, something like that, you know, just to play around with it. Uh, and in Photoshop, it's not hard to do things. It's all about playing around with stuff and seeing what it do. You know, like you change different blend modes just to see what it look like, so you find something you like. And if you start being like, okay, yeah, screen works for this, so next time you're in Photoshop and you remember you want to add something like this, you know, you just remember screen works, so you just put it on screen. Um, and the good thing about the gradient is it's never permanent. You know, if you, if you start editing your images further and you have all of these layers, let's just start adding some stuff. Okay, let me take off this threshold. I don't want to do that. Let's say you have all of these layers and it's full of stuff, right? You can always come back to it and double tap on it, and you got your panel open right here, so you can just change whatever you want. And since it's already set, you can just change your color right here to something a little different if you want, right? All right, and that's the linear gradient. Okay, now as far as uh, different types of gradients, if you click on this drop down, we have radial, angle, reflected, and diamond. I don't really mess with the bottom three, only like the top two. And I use the radial a lot when I'm adding like sun flares or whatnot. So that's what we'll do. We'll hit radial. My phone is going crazy. So now you see you got your little radial gradient. And when you're doing sun flares, you want to make sure, you know, it looks just like this from color to transparent. And if it's not like that, just click on this little arrow and just click this one right here. Okay. And now you can change the color. Click on it. Click right here. Click the color. Find your nice little light color. And click OK. OK again. And now when you add your sun flares, you want to put it to where a lot of light is at. And you want to make it look natural. So majority of the light is coming from back here and it's hitting her hair, you know. So I will put my gradient, the center of it, like right here. Let me put this all the way back up to 100 so we can see what we're doing. Now we click on this, set this back to radial. Now we see what we're doing. Grab it by the center of it. We're gonna put it like right here, right in this little spot right there. And of course, like if you come down here to scale and click on your drop down, you can make it bigger, you know, however big you want. You can fill up the whole image or whatnot. But we're just gonna put it around, let's put it around 275. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, no, let's put it 300. Yeah, 300. That's good. Okay, now let's change our color. We're gonna go with something reddish, warmish kind of tone, something like that. A little more red. Okay. And now what I do, because I know I'm gonna change my blend mode, what I always do, if I come down here, because you got your hue, your saturation, brightness, red, green, and blue, right? If you come to your brightness and you just set that to 50%, it's going to give you a 50% tone in your image, meaning it's not going to be brighter and it's not going to be darker, because you don't want to affect the tones in your image so much when you're adding the sun flares. You want to still look natural. Okay. And when you add the 50%, it's going to put it 50% between lights and between darks. So then you just hit OK. You hit OK again over here. And then you hit OK again over here. Now you can leave it like this, or you can set it to screen. Well, it's already set at screen, but on normal, that's how it would have looked. Okay, let me get rid of these layers. That's normal with the gradient, and when you set it to screen, that's what it looks like. Now the reason we set it to 50% instead of just like the color that that we chose is because if you come here and open this back up, all right, we have our color. If it would have been brighter, it would have been like a little too bright, messing up the exposure in the image, and too dark, it wouldn't have showed up much. Okay, so yeah, I always just go 50% right here. Okay, and now while you have it 50%, if you want to change the saturation of it, you can come to the left and it'll make it more, well, less saturated. Or if you bring it right, it'll make it more saturated. But I kind of choose like somewhere around here, about right there. Okay, and you can also change the saturation. If you don't want to click in here, you can change it right here. So right now the saturation is at 67%. If you want to change it to like 10%, it'll bring it more, less saturated over here. So let's go back to 67% because I like the 67%. The blacks is 50%. We click on OK. Click OK here. Click OK here, and that's your gradient right there. You can bring it down some, adjust the opacity how you want. I think it looks good just like that. Here's the before and after. That's the before without the sun flare, and that's the after with it. Another thing you can do with this gradient is, let's get rid of, hold on, oh yeah, and with this type of gradient you can also save it as a new gradient, just like we saved that other and it still appear here. You can just hit new and it'll be right there. So let's click OK. Click OK here again. Let's get rid of this. So when we add another gradient, let's go to gradient right over here. All we have to do is change this to radial. Then we go down to gradient, just like that. The scale was 300, I think. Yep. Click OK. Change our blend mode to screen. Oh, I forgot to change the position of it. Bring it like over here. Click OK. And there we go, again with another gradient. Alright, and another thing, what I wanted to say you can do with these gradients are you can add multiple colors. And the way to add multiple colors is, let's say we just click on the drop down menu and we click on this right here. And now standard is going to be black and white. So we click on it. This right here is black and this right here is white. It's showing like that now because the blend mode is set to screen. Black don't show up when you set everything is screen. So let's change it to normal. Okay, and now this is what it looks like. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this blend mode to soft light because I want to add some color and contrast in the image. So of course the black is over here is going to be darker, the white is over here is going to be lighter. Okay, so we double tap that, and what we want to do is add color to it. So we click on the middle of this and it's going to bring up the color panel over here. So for the blacks, we want a lighter color. We just click on that, click on the black, and let's go with the color we had for like that warm tone over here. Let's set it to 50% again, and let's set the saturation to 50% also. Okay, hit OK, and now for the tone that's over here, which is the rest of the image, we click on the white. And when you're adding these gradients and making these gradient maps, you always want to work with complementary colors, because when you do complementary tones in your image, it's just going to look really nice. So we just click on the white over here, and complementary color to like a reddish is like a somewhere around here, a greenish bluish kind of look. So we just click right here and we click on this, and let's go to 50% again, and for the saturation we go to 50% too. Okay, and now we just click OK, and click OK. Now we got this reddish tone that's blended in with this kind of bluish greenish tone down here, and here's the before and here's the after of that. You can change your opacity and like to however you want to change it. That's what, low, and let's put it all the way. Now me personally, I think this is a little too dark, so I can just click back on my gradient, click on my colors, and click on my blacks. Why is it not showing my color? I don't know what just happened just now. So let's find that color again. All right, and it was at 50%. So what we're gonna do is let's bring the saturation down first to 50. And what we're gonna do is, instead of it being at 50%, because 50 was a little too dark, we're just gonna take the brightness up to 75%. 75 like that. Okay, because we want the lighter part to be on her face. Okay, so then we hit OK. Hit OK again here, and now it's more lighter on her face, and we got the darker color down here by her jacket. Okay, now another thing you can do when you're playing with these gradients like this, I didn't show you in the gradient map, but it applies the same. So we're gonna click on this, and when you click on the gradient right here, if you click anywhere in the middle, hold on, click right here. Yeah, if you gotta double click it, okay? When you double click it, it's gonna bring up a little diamond in the middle. Now with this diamond, what you can do is you can alter how much of which color is, in the image. Meaning, like, if you bring it more to this side, it's gonna add more green, like over here. If you bring it more to this side, it's gonna have more of the other color. And you could just like kind of play with it and see the advantage that can do. Because let's say the face is right here, and we want all of the warm tones to be right here, and all of the greens to just pop up in this little area right there. So if it was in the middle, it wouldn't show that. But if you bring it more over here, it'll show it. Let's click on this one more time. Make sure that's still good, 75, 50, and we hit OK. Now all of the tones is going to show up right here, and the green only show up right here. And if you want to see it of where it's at, you hit OK, and then you change it to normal. Now you see all of the warm tones is in this area, and the green is right along this little fence line right there. So we click that back to soft light, and there it is. You can change the opacity a little bit to make it, look however you want it to look. And but I like it at 100%, so we just leave it at 100. And that's the before, and that's the after, and that's the power of gradient maps and using gradients. All right, thank y'all. Have a good day. Happy shooting.